The great IWW wobbly folk singer Utah Phillips once observed, "Mother Nature is not dying, she is being killed, and those killers have names and addresses." One of those addresses presently is the Dall on Kildare Street. Another address is Shannon Airport, where hundreds of thousands of young American soldiers have passed through the duty-free to go to kill and die in Iraq and Afghanistan over the last 10 years. The Lancet report estimates that over 1 million Iraqis, mostly women and children, have been killed by these young people in American uniforms, passing through Shannon Airport on the west coast of Ireland, passing through, being refreshed and refueled by Ireland, slapped on the back on their way to invade, occupy and loot Iraq. 4,000 of these young Americans have come home in body bags. 10,000 have come home with injuries they will never recover from. They will never walk or talk again. Some mother's son, some daddy's daughter. Many have committed suicide and homicide since returning. Many are in jails and psych units as we speak. More American Vietnam veterans have killed themselves since returning from the Vietnam War than were killed in the war itself. More British Falklands veterans have killed themselves returning than were killed in the Falklands War. And so it will go with the veterans of the war in Iraq. In 2003, myself and 4 other Catholic workers made our way into Shannon Airport to refresh the prophecy of Messiah, to beat swords into plowshares. After we had non-violently disarmed the warplane, we were arrested and held in Limerick prison. We were charged with US $2.5 million criminal damage for our non-violent disarmament and our anti-war resistance. The Irish media lied about us, saying we had been violent to the Garda in the aircraft hangar. The Garda in question got up on the stand under oath in our 3 trials and stated that I had comforted him and not assaulted him. The media lied about us, quote, costing the Irish taxpayer $2.5 million. In December 2010, WikiLeaks revealed secret cables from the US Embassy, putting light to this claim. Hardly surprising, the Americans picked up the tab. $2.5 million is nothing to them, as they spent billions of dollars destroying Iraqi society and infrastructure. The secret cables also exposed the Fianna Fáil clowns in all their duplicity and colonial sycophancy, grovelling to the US ambassador and attacking their own Irish legal system. I'm running, not standing, in these Irish elections for 4 main reasons. One is that we sent Bradley Manning to war in Iraq through Shannon Airport. The last place Bradley was, outside of a war zone or not in chains, was in Ireland at Shannon Airport. We need to bring this young man back from being buried alive in the solitary confinement and sensory deprivation of Quantico. We need to grant Bradley Manning citizenship. We granted citizenship to Nelson Mandela and we were vindicated by history. We will grant it to Bradley and likewise be vindicated. Bradley Manning is presently being held in Quantico, Virginia, the largest US Marine base in the world. Bradley is being held in solitary confinement and sensory deprivation. Bradley is being tortured 24/7. Those who torture him have studied, learned and fine-tuned their techniques from the hellholes of Long Kesh, Abu Ghraib and Guantanamo. They're applying all their knowledge to break Bradley Manning so he will deliver Julian Assange to them. The FBI have made their way to Bradley Manning's mother's small Welsh village to harass her. Bradley Manning's mother suffered a number of strokes recently, but that didn't stop the FBI from harassing her. They harassed his mother to put more pressure on Bradley Manning. The American empire plans to bury Julian Assange alive for the rest of his days, as a warning to anyone else who plans to confront them so directly and so clearly. Number 2, I want us to demilitarise Shannon Airport. I want us to return to the neutrality proclaimed in the Irish Constitution, a neutrality born out of the experiences of the butchery of World War I and the anti-conscription position that was so popular in Ireland during that period. I want us to rid Ireland of the United States military base at Shannon Airport. If St Patrick could chase all the snakes out of Ireland, we should have no trouble ridding the place of this small nest of vipers. I want us not only to survive their recession, I want us to thrive in it. I want us to rediscover community, celebration and spirituality. I want us to be no longer a nation of haircuts and shopping sprees, where passive consumerism has taken over from active citizenship. I want us to imagine that freedom is more than the choice between Coke and Pepsi, between Reebok and Nike, between Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, between Tweedledum and Tweedledummer. I reject their designation that there can only be freedom at the point of consumption, only freedom in the shopping mall, that we should shop until we drop. I want us to believe in the freedom in the streets, at school, in our workplace, and on the dance floor. We all know we have been on a bender with the Celtic Tiger, and we're now waking up with a massive hangover. We know now that credit is not freedom, and that debt is slavery. Who put the mortgage? The Fianna Fáil Green Party government have brought us to the end of the Celtic Tiger world. Jesus wept over Jerusalem, and we weep over Ireland now. Jesus' advice was what to do at the end of the world is to start a new one. Their world is over, unsustainable and undesirable, and it is history. As sure as the Pharaoh Mubarak has fallen in Egypt, the clowns and gangsters of Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, who have reduced us to this, will fall. As surely as the Roman Empire fell, the American Empire, the greatest and most destructive in human history, will fall soon enough. In Luke's Gospel, Jesus advised what you do at the end of the world, the end of Jerusalem, the end of the Roman and American empires, the end of the Celtic Tiger world, is to start a new one. This is my electoral battle bus for the Irish elections. It's fueled by recycled fish and chip oil. This is Sue and her husband Roland. They've lived in this motorhome for over 6 years in central London and live well. I've known Roland for over 28 years. He's been off the grid that long. They are my economic advisors in the Irish elections. Their economic advice basically is to live simply, so all may simply live. To consume less and to live more. Creative simplicity can take many forms. To all the good folks of Ireland, I hope I run into you in the streets of Dublin, Wexford, Shannon, Limerick, Galway, Clara over the next few days leading up to this election. To the rich and powerful and the foot soldiers who serve them, I'm your worst nightmare. I'm a Christian anarchist pacifist. I do not know my place. When you mutter, who does he think he is? I know who I am. Son of Mary and Garrett, the grandchild of Irish patriots Paddy and Nan. After 800 years of colonisation, I do not know my place because I reject your entire class and caste system. Be warned, I've got a megaphone and a hammer, and I'm prepared to use them. The hammer's been used before, and it'll be used again, to disarm a B-52 bomber in '91 in New York State on the eve of the Gulf War massacre, and also to disable uranium mining equipment at the Jabiluka mine site in '98 in the Northern Territory of Australia. It was also used at Shannon Airport to disable a US warplane en route to the illegal and immoral invasion of Iraq. The megaphone is to animate the walking dead. They will arise and appear to many.
Call me Pat, call me Paddy, call me Mick, call me Shawnee. I'll ride o'er the crest of your unspoken hate. Call me tinker, call me traveller, call me blind, drunken rambler. I'll ride o'er the crest of your unspoken hate. I'll ride o'er the crest of your unspoken hate.